This is Ian Cameron for Sportsbook Review with your NHL Early Lines report for the games on Tuesday, December 20th. Let's begin by looking at the LA Kings Columbus Blue Jackets game with the Columbus Blue Jackets maintaining their surge, and I mean surge. I mean, this team has just been on an absolute roll. One of the hottest teams in the NHL in a battle with the Rangers and the Penguins in the Metropolitan Division for first place. They're neck and neck with both of those hockey teams coming into this game here. Columbus just playing great hockey. 9 straight victories for this hockey team. This is a little bit of a tricky spot, though, coming into this one for the Columbus Blue Jackets. And it's tricky because you're returning home off that Western Canada road trip. You played 3 pretty tough games, 3 pretty closely contested games. They won 3-1 in Edmonton, 4-1 in Calgary, 4-3 come from behind win in overtime in their last game to beat the Vancouver Canucks. So very impressive stuff from the Blue Jackets. But first game home off that road trip, always a little bit of a difficult spot. And John Tortorella got, I think, a milestone victory in that win for the Columbus Blue Jackets on Saturday, and it came against the team that he used to coach. So you just worry about a little bit of a letdown here for the Jackets. And again, you're talking about laying minus 145 to minus 150 with a team that I just have that little fear you may not see their best game here tonight. But on the flip side, the LA Kings on the road have been just absolutely scary bad this season. When you look at it, their road record not very good, 6-10 on the season. They have split the first 4 games of their current road trip, but they beat Pittsburgh in overtime, but got badly outshot in that game. And of course, they beat Detroit, which has had trouble scoring goals lately, and they lose the other 2 to Buffalo and Boston. So we'll see if the Kings can pull off a win and end this Columbus winning streak. But even though it's a tricky spot for the Jackets, I'm not sure I have enough faith in the LA Kings here to pull the trigger on them. Dustin Brown didn't play the last game, and he's questionable to play with an upper body injury. This team, of course, still without Jonathan Quick, and that's a problem because you got to deal with Peter Budaj or Jeff Zatkoff in net, and I don't really like either one of those 2 goalie options for the Kings, so it's a tough game for me to get involved with, and one that I'll probably pass in the end. Rangers-Pittsburgh, don't look now. Pittsburgh, after just a torrid 12-game over-the-total streak, they've now gone under the total in 2 straight games, and Pittsburgh lost both games, so all of a sudden, you've got to analyze what's happening here with the Penguins, and right now, suddenly their offense is dried up. An offense that couldn't be stopped, that was scoring 3, 4, 5 goals on a nightly basis. Well, they've been held to 1 goal in their last 2 games combined against the Kings and the Leafs, losing both of those games in overtime. It's a concern, and Chris Letang's absence has been a concern for this team. Lower body injury, and all of a sudden, in 2 games without Letang on the ice, we've seen this team score 1 goal in those 2 games combined. Letang, they miss the puck movement. They miss him quarterbacking the power play. There's a lot of reasons why this team is definitely missing the services of Chris Letang. There's definitely no denying that. And it's just something that you have to worry about being a concern for this team offensively based on the results so far. But on the flip side, the New York Rangers, got Rick Nash back, and now he's out again due to that groin injury, out indefinitely. So once again, the Rangers, not exactly a team that you can expect them to light the lamp, and they're starting to regress a little bit offensively themselves. They've been held to 3 goals or less in each of their last 4 games. Even though they've won 3 of those 4 games, the goaltending's been superb. Henrik Lundqvist, since returning from that brief little respite he got when Antti Ranta got hot, they've gone back to Lundqvist. He's been terrific. So, you got Pittsburgh struggling to score goals, Rangers getting good goaltending, and they're struggling to score themselves. So maybe Pittsburgh's under streak can extend to 3 straight games here. Certainly would lean that way. Let's see what else we've got. Well, how about Buffalo against Florida? What are the Panthers doing laying minus 155? I know Buffalo's, not a great team by any stretch, but Florida Panthers have been on a free fall. They're 3-9 in their last 12 games, and the 3 victories for Florida came against Detroit, can't score goals lately, Vancouver, one of the worst teams in the league, and Colorado, who's been an absolute abomination of a hockey team for the last couple of weeks. Another team that's one of the worst teams in the NHL, that Colorado team. Those are the 3 wins. Those are the 3 victories for Florida in their last 12 games. Now you're asking me to lay more than minus 150 with them in this spot. And it's a bad spot, too, for Florida. Florida's coming off that 3-game road trip out west, Minnesota, Winnipeg, and Colorado. Again, only win was against that lowly Colorado team, which is struggling mightily right now. Now you're returning home. Bad spot for Florida. There's no way I can lay minus 155. Now, can you trust Buffalo? Well, Buffalo's not exactly been great, but at least since Jack Eichel's returned, we've seen a little bit of offense from this team. Since Eichel's been back on the ice, this team actually does have a 5-4 record in 9 games with Jack Eichel back on the ice since he returned from injury. So a little bit of a positive sign for Buffalo, starting to get a little bit healthier. Florida is expected to have Jonathan Marchessault back on the ice for this game. He missed the last 2 games due to a lower body injury. One of the leading scorers on this team, expected to return for this game, but still very dubious spot for Florida. And I can tell you this, I'm not sure if I'm going to backing Buffalo here, but I will sure as hell say this. There's no way I'm laying Florida, laying more than minus 150 with Florida. Not even maybe. It's definitely, I would take Buffalo at the plus price or leave this game alone. Detroit, Tampa Bay. Interesting situation here because Detroit was supposed to play Carolina Monday night. That game got postponed due to poor ice conditions in Raleigh, and now the Red Wings are going to play Tampa Bay, and all of a sudden what looked like a back-to-back situation for them is now not. So a little bit of extra, I guess, rest you could say for Detroit going into that game. No line posted yet for that Red Wings Lightning game, but again, Tampa Bay injury-riddled, coming home off that road trip out west in Western Canada, a very injury-riddled hockey team. I mean, you look at the Tampa injury report, it is unbelievable how lengthy it is. Palat, Cedric Paquette, Nikita Kucherov, of course Stamkos has been out a while, Ryan Callahan's been out a while. There's a lot of key injuries on the Lightning. Now the Red Wings have their own key injuries too. Mike Green, Brian Lashoff on defense, Thomas Yurko's got the flu, Justin Abdelkader's out, Brendan Smith's out, Darren Helm's out. So Detroit's a banged-up hockey team too, but so is Tampa. You've got 2 teams going through a war of attrition right now on both sides, but very difficult spot for Tampa. That 3-game Western Canadian road trip. We'll see if they can still come home and get the job done. But I'd be interested in looking at Detroit plus an underdog tag in that game. You know they'll be a significant dog. Just how much is going to be the question, but would lean to Detroit in that game. We've got, let's see, let's go down to St. Louis and Dallas. This is an interesting game, a little bit more of a even money price here. Dallas minus 125, minus 130. Second of back-to-back games for St. Louis. They played Monday night at home against Edmonton, lost that game in overtime. So they'll be chomping at the bit to bounce back. But here we go. Same old story. A lot of these NHL teams this year not playing well on the road. And, well, St. Louis is another one of those teams. Haven't played well on the road. 4-10 in 14 road games this season. And the Dallas Stars, I said this prior to this homestand that they're on, they were looking to make some hay. They were looking to put their foot down, play some good hockey, try to get some wins and get back in the playoff chase. So far, so good. They've won 2 of the first 3 games on this homestand, beat Anaheim, beat Philadelphia. And even though they got shut out by the Rangers 2-0 in between at home, they outshot, they pretty much outplayed the Rangers at times in that game. They actually did get outshot 30-27, but still played a very good game. And Henrik Lundqvist made a ton of big saves for the Rangers in that victory. So Dallas has played 3 pretty good games at home. I think they have a chance to play a pretty good game here in this one. They catch St. Louis on a back-to-back situation, and it is worth noting, St. Louis 3-2 in a back-to-back spot this year, so not horrible, but not great either. Dallas Stars, to me, probably worth a look here at minus 125, minus 130. Not sure I'd want to lay more than that, but I think it's definitely worth a look. Winnipeg, Vancouver, we're going to wrap up with this game because it's also going to be my play of the day for the Tuesday, December 20th NHL card. The Vancouver Canucks, you got to tip your hat to them. They've been competitive. They've been a hard-trying hockey team. They're just not very good, though. 13-19 on the season. And the Canucks injury report seems to be building and building and building. I mean, there seems to be more and more guys ending up on that injury report. And now on the blue line, which has already been decimated with Alexander Edler's injury, now they're adding Eric Goodbranson to that list. He's going to require surgery to repair a torn ligament in his wrist, so he's out indefinitely. More bad news for what's already a depth-shy blue line here for the Vancouver Canucks. And a Vancouver team that, struggling as they have most of the season. They're just 1-4 in their last 5 games. Lost at Florida, lost at Washington, blew that huge lead at Carolina, lost 8-6. came back home, beat Tampa Bay 4-2, but got outshot in that game. And Tampa's, as I just mentioned earlier in this video, is injury riddled, so you have to take that win with a grain of salt. And then, of course, they had the lead against Columbus, couldn't hold it, and Columbus ends up with the 4-3 overtime win against Vancouver. Actually, Vancouver battled back from a deficit in that game, not Columbus, but still not good enough. They lose 4-3. It's a game that I think Vancouver kind of wanted to win, try to sort of stick it to John Tortorella, their old head coach, but not able to get the job done. And it's just a Vancouver team that, now they're in a price range here where they're actually a slight favorite. You're seeing Vancouver minus 110, minus 115 in this game, and right away when I see Vancouver as any sort of favorite price attached to them, I'm automatically interested in betting against them. Now the question is, can you trust Winnipeg? Because this has been a very disappointing hockey team for extended stretches this season, but they have shown signs of getting out of it. 2 home wins against Florida and Colorado. I know Florida and Colorado aren't great, but it's 2 wins. Vancouver's right in that same boat with Colorado and Florida. And what did I just say before about Florida? They had beaten Colorado and Detroit and Vancouver for 3 of their wins. Well, guess what? Winnipeg beat Colorado and Florida. And Vancouver's in that same group. Vancouver's no good or no better than Colorado or Florida. It's a winnable game for Winnipeg. The Jets on the road now, starting a road trip. They play in Vancouver here in this game. Then they play. They actually play back-to-back in Vancouver. Yes, they do. I thought I was seeing things, but they're playing the Canucks in Vancouver Tuesday night and then again on Thursday night. What a bizarre schedule. So it's back-to-back in the same city here for these 2 teams. Very odd schedule there, but I think you get a good effort here from the Winnipeg Jets here in this game as they start this road trip. And you talk about the recent series history between the Canucks and Jets. It's been one-sided in favor of Winnipeg. Winnipeg has won each of the last 4 meetings between these 2 teams, including a 5-2 win last year here in Vancouver. I still think Winnipeg's the better of these 2 teams. I still like them better up front with, Brian Little's healthy again. Mark Scheifele's healthy. Blake Wheeler, the captain. Patrick Laine is having a fantastic rookie season. Way more depth of forwards with Winnipeg. Probably a better defense now with the injuries that the Canucks are dealing with on the blue line, and even goaltending. Whether it's Ryan Miller in net for Vancouver, he's capable of being great, and he's capable of being not so good. So it's not like they have a huge edge in the crease. So overall, I just think Winnipeg a better hockey team. Vancouver's not a team I trust in any sort of favorite role with a minus sign prior to the price attached to them. And for that reason, and for those reasons specifically, I think Winnipeg looks like a little bit of a bargain here, if you ask me. So let's make it official here. Let's make it official with the Winnipeg Jets minus 110. That's rotation number 21. Winnipeg minus 110 against the Vancouver Canucks to get the victory on the road. That's your play of the day for Tuesday, December 20th in NHL hockey action. All right, that'll wrap up my NHL Early Lines report for Tuesday, December 20th. I'm Ian Cameron for Sportsbook Review. Until next time, enjoy the games and good luck.
Go to SBRodds.com. Browse, compare, and shop live odds available at top online sportsbooks.